Hello everyone, welcome to Pop Culture Panel at Japan Next Door event. So coming to pop culture, Japan has been pretty much well known for pop culture. If you ask an outsider what is that one thing that stands out as Japanese, it's the pop culture. Japan and pop culture have run hand in hand for a while now, from Gundam to Godzilla, from samurai soaps to Power Rangers. Since Japan Habba is a pop culture event after all, you know what? Let's have a pop culture panel discussion. For this exact reason, we have gathered a bunch of cool representatives from your communities here for the discussion. Without further ado, let's roll the intros. Starting with your very own veteran cosplayer, Redemption Props. And another very popular name from anime community, it's Tarun from AnimeTm Talks. We also have Otakustan's Darshan and Otakunadu Srihari. And for all means and purposes, I'm your host, Darshan. So let's get the panel started. Coming to our very first question. This is a pretty popular question after all. So Asian culture has been going pretty well in Bangalore for a while now. And there's K-pop culture, there's the Western TV series culture. So where do you guys think the anime fits in the spectrum? Is it as mainstream as Western, or is it as progressive or upcoming culture like Korean? Where do you think this fits in?
What I personally believe is that the anime culture, particularly in India, has always been there. Even before, like we had Animax and other stuff. So the anime culture was always there. It was not just as mainstream as the entire Western culture of Hollywood or Marvels, but yeah, it is getting mainstream nowadays. So it is kind of somewhere between being mainstream and upcoming. That's what I believe personally.
Yeah, Western has blown up after I think Marvel in India significantly. It's incomparable if you compare it to anime. But yeah, the anime is definitely growing, especially since like past 6 years, and it is at the very peak right now, and it will keep growing in the coming years.
I think globally speaking is becoming mainstream, but at a very limited capacity. Like there are very few shows that literally everyone knows about. Everyone knows Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan, and all these super mega like Demon Slayer on, really big shows. Everyone knows about them. But then there is like a second group of people who are much deeper into anime, who know like 1,000 more anime that the mainstream audience doesn't know. And on the other side, there was a lot of stigma around watching anime like 5 to 10 years ago. Like if you watched anime, even the mainstream ones, you were like just the hell out of the room. Like, oh, what are you guys? You watch anime? What the hell, bro? So that kind of sentiment is disappearing globally, not just from India. Like if you say, oh, bro, One Piece is so cool, Demon Slayer is kick ass, the animation, people don't judge you as much for it anymore. Maybe if you are into some really, really very specific kind of genre that is there's still some stigma around it, then maybe there's some cultural differences. But other than that, for the most of the mainstream anime, I think it's become pretty normalized now to like anime.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Redemption Props. No, please go ahead, Srihari. I'm so sorry.
I mean, you started, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah,
I think they can carry forward from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, as Redemption Props mentioned, like, even if we talk about the Marvel community, like, people only know the mainstream things like Iron Man and the mainstream Iron Man, Spider-Man, and all. But even there are, like, really hardcore Marvel fans who are a lot into the comics of Marvels. And that's not something that, like, normal people, like, it's like kind of same in the anime community. People know about Death Note, they know about Dragon Ball Z, but they do not know the hardcore community. I think the hardcore community is kind of upcoming. That's what I think.
Yeah, adding on to you guys, the part of a reason for anime success in India is that there is a huge gap, right, in the artistic consumption. Where if you take as English movies and Marvel and DC, of course there are people who watch it for the entertainment, but there is a huge hardcore following for them. But it might be quite intimidating for new people who join into this, who are interested to watch new stuff, right? But anime is the sweet spot where it's not as intimidating as Western content, which might be hard to get into, but not as the over the top Bollywoodish stuff that we are so used to. So I think it fits into the sweet spot, and that niche is what anime does best. And I think that's a major reason why anime is becoming so popular right now, because people don't want to think so much when they watch anime, but still have a lot of enjoyment out of it.
So coming back to Dave's original point that anime is not entirely new to India. We have had Animax and whatnot. So let's take a step backward. Okay, even before that, we've had Pokemon, Kochikame, and shows like that being dubbed in Hindi, and they got really popular. Even Dragon Ball Z. So, what do you think of popularizing anime more by subbing it and dubbing it in regional languages?
Personally, I think it's a good thing. I know there's a lot of stigma around dubs, both English and Hindi, but I think overall, as for the growth of the medium, I think it's a good thing. The more people you reach, like it's okay if you personally don't like dubs, but let someone else like it. That's fine. Like for me personally, I prefer subs, but I, as an artist, usually I'm just working, crafting on something, making my costume, and something is running in the background. So I sometimes just watch dubs because I cannot afford to look at the screen. I would just want to listen to what's happening because my Japanese is just not as good to just understand everything while working on something else, right? So I don't think people should criticize dubs as much. Like you can have a personal opinion, but stop speaking out against it because there are people who like it and it helps. Ultimately, it's helping the anime industry grow. Yes. So I don't think there's anything bad about dubs.
Yeah, to add to his point, it's not that dubs are inherently bad. It's just that the quality of the localization matters a lot when you are dubbing stuff. And as long as people who dub it and the management and the directors who do these dubs properly instruct the voice actors, right? At the end of the day, voice actors will only do what they're asked to do. As long as there is proper direction for how the dubs are made, I think dubs will be very natural as long as Indian languages are concerned. Even English can be done very good as long as there is good direction. So yeah, I don't think dub deserves as much hate as it gets.
There are certain things that I think get lost in the dubbing process. But for the growth of the medium, it is definitely something that should exist. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it should not exist. And even I do not watch dubs, but there are actually some few cases that I believe where the dub in some parts has done better than the original. Like I believe for My Hero Academia, the dubbing is really good. For Death Note, the dubbing is really good. And yeah, for the growth in general, regional languages coming to India, regional languages, the Hindi dubs have uh, helped significantly. Like if it didn't exist, I don't know if I will be I will be watching anime now. So and for the coming generation also that will get introduced to anime through dubs, it is going to help. I think Dragon Ball Super is getting dubbed in Hindi. There's a lot of talk around that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of elitism in community, like not just anime, but any fandom, whether it be video games, anime, music, or anything. The fastest way to kill your own passion or your own genre, whatever you're following, is through elitism. Elitism is what pushes away the new audience, right? If you're being constantly elitist, I watch sub, I'm superior than you, and no one is going to come in and feel friendly about joining your group, right? So just be friendly. Like, let someone watch dub if they want dub. Let them watch Hindi if they want Hindi. Just be peaceful, you know.
That kind of behavior actually is much more prominent with anime
Yeah.
specifically.
I think it's gotten better though. Like 10 years
Mhm.
ago, oh my god, anime fans could not talk to anyone who did not like anime. There was so much elitism. Like, there was so much superiority complex on
Complex.
one side, and there was so much judgment on the other side because of it. I think it has gone down now though. It's a lot better.
So high five to good dubs. Let's all watch anime in peace. We're all one people after all. So far we've been looking at the medium from viewers' perspective. Now let's take it from the producer's perspective. At the end of the day, anime is a form of business, right? So they need to turn out profitable. So do you guys think that streaming services in India will turn out as well? See, Netflix does have a bunch of shows already, but there are stuff like Crunchyroll, Funimation, and whatnot, which bring regional anime, and they bring it simul-dub, simulcast. So do you think that is going to work out in India?
I
I
think,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so personally, I think Crunchyroll is horrible. It's a terrible platform. The user interface is horrible. In fact, a lot of people who are sub to Crunchyroll choose to just not use it. They sub just to support the anime. They just choose to just download the anime from somewhere else, because Crunchyroll is a bad website. They need to rework on the website so much more. And I think it would do a lot of good for anime as a business from financial perspective. And other than that, there is a lot of availability issue. Netflix has uh, everything basically mainstream. Slowly they're adding more and more things, but still it's all the mainstream stuff, and there's nothing wrong about it, because clearly there isn't enough demand. There just isn't. Even the anime that like Haikyuu and all is there on Netflix India now, but a lot of us watch it, but for the mainstream crowd, like for the 95%, it's probably not very interesting. So the demand will slowly grow as the mainstream ones get more popular and people start searching, oh, is there more similar content on Netflix, right? So I think Crunchyroll needs to do better. I think we need more competitors. The reason why they don't feel the need to do better is because there's no competition. When there is competition, that's when brands start to evolve themselves to compete with both in pricing and in the quality of content and what all they have to offer. So I think it's a good thing that Netflix is slowly picking up on it, but Crunchyroll, oh my, no, Crunchyroll needs to do so much better.
Adding on to Crunchyroll, it's not just the UI, but it is also the availability that is. There are very less titles available for Indian region, and in that too, if you are not having a Wi-Fi, then it is like impossible to stream on phone. It consumes so much data. The streaming is bad on Crunchyroll. On the other hand, there are many shows, not just the mainstream ones, but like every kind of shows available on News Asia. They are doing a great job on YouTube, and I think they are also starting Indian channels separately.
Yeah, they recently announced it.
Mhm. That's going to help a lot.
Yeah, I hope so.
Like, as
So
you guys mentioned about the Muse Asia part. Indeed, like Muse Asia is doing really great. But at the Crunchyroll, the subscription, if you talk about the subscription, it's so high that I would rather buy Netflix and watch, like get more options instead of just watching anime on a platform that does not even have all the anime that I really want to watch, or are really that interesting, or have a high rating, that are more popular in the fandom or the community. And the second thing is that like for like music piracy was really a very huge issue. So Spotify came in, they give really low price subscriptions, 1 day subscription and other things. If anime industry tries to do something like that, I really believe the issue with the piracy की लोग क्या कहते जाकर किसी और जगह से third party site से जाकर anime देख रहे, that would eventually reduce if we have subscriptions that are more reasonable for people and students basically.
Yeah, the laughing matter is the sites that are made from some random people are much more better when it comes to streaming than official available resources.
Exactly. If your paid subscription is worse than a pirated website, then you got issues.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, Crunchyroll is bad. Let's just not stick with it, but go abuse Asia. And also, there's this one a really good site called AnimeTm, which redirects you with legal options to watch anime in India. It's by one of the people by BSc. It's really cool. It redirects you to watch. It redirects you to Netflix or any legal streaming site. So you just have to go look it up and then go from there. So yeah, now moving forward, since you guys all of you run really good communities, so you've been there for a while. So how much has the anime community grown by the time you've been there?
Yeah, I think I am making content or dubs from 5 to 6 years now, and from that time to this time, the growth is like tremendous. People were like you could count them on fingers that I used to know that watch anime, and now there is so much more. Earlier it used to be like, oh, I am the only one, I am one of the elites, but now like every other person is watching anime. So the growth has been insane, especially after the pandemic.
Yeah.
I have kind of a separate view on this. I come from a really good city actually, so anime was always there around in my city, like in Mumbai particularly if I talk about. So Mumbai used to have a lot of anime cons, whether we talk about the Japanese, Cool Japan Fest and all. So the anime culture, particularly in India, particularly in Mumbai, has always been there. So for me, I never really experienced that kind of a culture wherein people used to bully otakus. In fact, I always had people come up to me and be like, "Oh, you watch anime? That's so cool." And then that's how the conversation started. So particularly for me, it has never been that. I've always seen, like, I've watched anime when Dragon Ball used to get aired on Cartoon Network and Naruto used to come in Hindi. And from that time to when Pokemon got re-aired and Animax went out, then the whole India Wants Anime thing came in. So I have watched about 15 years of evolution of anime industry in India at this point, and I would say this is the time, this is the era wherein it is getting more popularized amongst the normies, I would say. The people who were not really that aware of the entire thing but are now into the culture, because even if I am going to my college or anywhere in the public, I'll see one person at least who's wearing an anime t-shirt and moving around like a weeb and not being ashamed of it. So that's kind of cool, I would say.
Yeah. So anime was like always there in India, but after Geo and like the internet penetration like shooting up even before the pandemic, that was a really watershed moment, right? So there were all these people who actually watched anime long before, but now they are able to get connected and they are able to share what they like the most, and that I think is a domino effect that led normies as well to get into anime. And That's why I think even before the pandemic, anime really started to get going in India. So I think it's always there, but the main piece in the puzzle only started to get resolved after 2016, right? And that's where we also started to see really big movements for actual anime movies in India as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I joined Bangalore Anime Club in 2009. The club is around since like 2005. That was like the oldest anime club in Bangalore. So 2009, it was like pretty tame. Like we used to have maximum like 15 to 20 members at a meetup. We used to do like monthly meetups, right? And back then, anime clubs were like a novelty because finding people who liked anime was kind of a rare thing, and you'd get fascinated. Oh, you watch anime? And by anime, I don't mean like the top mega four. I mean like people who have watched like at 50 to 100 anime. If you met someone like that back in 2009, it was like a big thing. So there were very few people. That's why anime clubs had such a novelty behind them, that oh, these people are so unique in a city of millions, right? But as like time passed on and on with more cultural events like Comic Con, Japan Habba and all, more and more people started to come in, and that's why I believe these days anime club meetups are like not that big of a thing anymore. We do bigger events now. Like we do our own entire events, not just casual meetups where we just used to come and meet and talk. Like events are still big, but if someone just told you, oh bro, come this Sunday, we'll meet 20 people who watch anime, you'll be like, yeah, I watch anime, so does my grandma and everyone's grandma, because it's not that much of a novelty anymore. Like meeting an anime fan is so much more common now. Like if you just go to like a restaurant or something, you start talking, it's likely that the person sitting next to you has watched the same thing. So I think it has grown immensely. Like after the first Bangalore Comic Con 2012, I think BAC members went from like some 160 to 800 like overnight, because we met so many people at Comic Con and we were just telling, come join our club, come join our club. And slowly it became so big that I was like, okay, I don't think there's space for me anymore.
Really good points being made there, but panel is short. So let's
Yeah,
come to the last question of it. We had a lot of fun during Mugen Train, even Tenkinoko. How excited are you guys for JJK0? PVR has promised it, so
They not really have promised it. They like posted and then pulled back, and they're trying. But let's see what is to happen. I have seen Jujutsu Kaisen and I'm like moderately excited. I'm not that passionate about Jujutsu Kaisen, but yeah, if it comes, I will go and watch.
past 2 years have really been rough for us anime clubs in general, given the pandemic and whatnot. So could Jujutsu Kaisen Zero be a mini meetup kind of thing? Once after a long time, now that the relaxations have come into place. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, to me, every anime movie is like a meetup. Whenever there is a movie that I want to watch, I like travel and meet people and watch the anime movie together. Uh, it's always a good experience. What about you guys?
I'm really
I
down
think
for it.
I think in big cities it's like more of a casual thing.
See, for me, see, I'll be honest. I'm an introvert, right? So regardless of anime or not, I just prefer to sit home and watch things on my own screen. Yeah, like theaters are just not my thing. Like every now and then, if there's some big movie and I don't want to wait for DVD release or something, I'll go watch it. But I still do go for anime movies anyways, because it's not about watching the movie, but first of all, it's about supporting anime. You buy the tickets, it's more likely that it's going to come back and it's going to become bigger in the future. And second thing is, it's more of a community thing. You go with your group of friends. Maybe you'll put on a costume or half, and then it's fun. You go and have the cosplay and people get fascinated. It becomes more of an event than just going and watching movie. Like I probably watched the movie already, or I don't care for it as much, but I do care for meeting friends and just having a great time there.
This question is really directed towards Dare and Srihari, since they kind of seem young at the bunch. No offense. But yeah. So what do you think about the merch space in anime? So when I started watching anime back in like 2015 or 14 or whatever, not a lot of people really watched it. But yesterday I was taking my local bus and I just saw a dude reading Berserk on it and sporting a hoodie, an anime hoodie. So do you guys see people wearing anime merch around you?
I literally wear a lot of anime merch myself. I'll go college wearing them, and I'll see literally half of my classroom itself wearing some sort or the other kind of an anime merchandise, whether it be mask, whether it be their t-shirt, whether it be their hoodie. In fact, I've even seen people have those really wonderful shoes with the anime prints on them. So particularly, I would say that I've seen a lot of people with merchandise like on them, and like even if they have a small merchandise like a keychain, like merchandise is something that is very commonly spotted around in public these days, I would say. Like, yeah, back in 2018 or something, I would hardly see, in fact, even I didn't have any sort of merchandise, but lately, because of a lot of local players and certainly some of the Japanese companies coming into the market, there are a lot of merchandise that you might get.
Yeah, speaking of merch, I'm actually wearing a merch right now. You can
Show it
see
to us.
Jojo, right? So people are really happy that merches are also getting very cheaper right now, right? Since the demand is pouring in and people are really able to get cheap merches. And once there was a time when people were so sad that they couldn't own any merch because they don't earn money. But right now students are like very excited and they're showing off their merches. I have a trainer who trains me in my college. He sports his merch. My fellow friends sport their merch, and it's really a fun and jovial thing that me being able to see people who really enjoy their stuff able to sport their merchandise, wear it, and really show off, right? As for youngsters, it's a really common expression of their enjoyment towards the media. And yeah, the past few years have been overall great thing for anime in general. It's both the commercial aspect and for the community. Yeah.
Oh, I also have a Weeb hoodie.
Yeah, the real weeb.
Oh, this Switcher medallion handmade. I make handmade small merch and stuff, anime as well. Fun.
Roaming around with covers.
I'm wearing the tee if that counts. So
Yeah, it is.
so it was a, I had huge props. I had a lot of fun talking to you people. Very different perspectives, veteran perspective from Redemption, the celebrity perspective from Tarun, Dare and Srihari giving their own thoughts. I got to see a lot of things from different spheres, right? So I had huge fun. So if you guys have any more queries or something, feel free to reach out to us. Organizers will let you know our contacts. So thank you so much for joining us for this session. Till next time, signing off.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh, thank you for
Bye.
having me. See ya.